afternoon, everyone. I assume everybody's here for cloud and Nikon journey into the cloud. We'll kind of talk about how they got there. So just make sure everybody's in the right room. So my name is Ryan Torzell. I'm the services manager for Product-Based Solutions. We're a services delivery company for PTC, so we do all the work with Windchill, Creo, and so forth. Also, we support and manage Windchill as well, so both in the cloud and in customers' environments too. So kind of what we're going to talk about today. I don't know, do you hear? Can you guys hear okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Oh, great, thanks. So kind of what we're going to go through today is kind of give you a background of what Windchill360.com Cloud is for us. So that's kind of our branded tool of hosting Windchill in the cloud or any other sort of production softwares. Then we'll kind of go into Nikon's move to the cloud. So we'll look at kind of what they were before, what drove them to move to the cloud, and then kind of what their system looks like afterwards, and then some of the benefits that they're realizing from that move. So what is Windchill360.com? It's a hosted system on Amazon Cloud, so AWS, Amazon Web Services. So here is where we would host your system. It's not what you might consider to be a true hosted environment. If you're familiar with Salesforce or other tools like that, where it's, you pay a monthly subscription and you get access to a system and you access it that way. Here you actually have your own dedicated servers in the Amazon Cloud that we host your system in, both from the application side as well as the database side. So we don't share anything between you and another customer. Everything is monolithic to your company. What it does is it eliminates the cost for hardware from your end. We also cover all the licenses for the operating systems as well as the licensing for the databases. So again, we kind of remove all of that need and any necessary work for you to do from that aspect. We also cover 24/7 support. So we would administer this 24/7. We know if the system goes down often before the users go down. So if there's any kind of changes, we make those in there. Also with the cloud, we have the ability to guarantee at least 99.5% uptime of the system. Again, we have variations with your internal network if that goes down. But from what our side of it, we control, we guarantee 99.5%. So the system's secure. So the Amazon Web Services, it is compliant with all ITAR requirements and any government regulations. So any sort of sensitive data, you can assure yourselves that it is protected in there. Again, each customer's environment is dedicated to just that. So you can connect through that virtual network so that, again, everything in there is dedicated to yourself. We do separate them on a separate internet subnet so that the only way that people have access to it is through SSL connection. So again, everything else is then protected from outside. From a liability standpoint, it uses Elastic Block Store, which is an Amazon patented storage technique. It's 10 times more reliable than your common disk in your computer. So there's a lot less of a risk for you losing data. Plus, Amazon has snapshots. So if you're familiar with VMware and so forth, you take snapshots. We can do this daily. So the difference here being, previously without snapshots, it might take a few hours or a day to bring back a system from a total loss. With these snapshots, we can bring it back in a matter of minutes. Also, okay, the database service is relational database services. So Amazon actually has their own DBAs on staff that they manage the database side for us. So any sort of anomalies that you may see with the database, they take care of all that. They also have the ability to recover back to a specific time. So again, from a loss that's not a total loss of the server, they can bring back the data with minimal loss. Flexibility, one of the big differences between your internal hardware as opposed to the cloud. If you need to increase disk space, first you have to go buy the disk, set up a time to install and configure. You have much more flexibility on the cloud. You can increase memory, CPUs, disk space on demand. So you only pay for what you need rather than going out and buying a huge drive and only using 10%. So you only pay for, again, what you use. From the inexpensive side, you don't need long-term contracts. Obviously, pricing gets better the longer you commit to contracts, but you have the ability to kind of go short-term if you want to just try it out as well. So now let's take a look at one of our customers that we actually moved into the cloud. Nikon Precision, you may all know them for the cameras that they make. They're based in California. That's where their main headquarters hub is, where most of their designers are at. But their system was located in Wisconsin, so there was quite a distance between the two systems. They didn't have any replica systems in place, so mostly their California suffered the most, but they did have global locations also that suffered that performance. It was on physical hardware, which does age. The backups were stored locally, so the backups were stored at that data center as well. And again, no virtual environment, so we didn't have that ability to snapshotting to actually recover if we needed to. We had the old method of pulling a backup and recovering from that. For some of Nikon's reasons to move, difficult scalability, which we talked about. So if they needed more memory, they had to order it, and they had to wait for it to come in, so there was that lag time there. They needed access for worldwide access without having VPN connections. Their VPN connection they had was a key card, and they didn't want to have to send those around the world. So they wanted the ability for anybody to access it through just the regular web. So we were able to provide that through the SSL connection that way. The hardware they had in place was much bigger than what they needed. Again, resources, so they had oversized it for something they didn't necessarily need. But that same hardware aged. So 90% of that hardware wasn't used, but it still got old. So now they have all this hardware that's outdated that they never used. And also to reduce the IT burden. So again, one less thing your IT department has to look at, control, and maintain. So now that they're in the cloud, we're running them on Red Hat Linux. So that's the software that we're running the application side on. They have their own private cloud. So again, when they connect, they're connected to their own system. They're not connected to some global system with a portion allocated to them. They have the database service, so that Amazon helps us maintain the databases. They have for all the backups. The data migration was completed through VPN, because again, that's the only connection they had at the time. So we moved all of their data into the cloud through that. They also have a publisher engine, so for most of you, you have a separate server. Again, you have other dedicated hardware required for publishing. So again, something else you have to maintain. Here, we have it all in the cloud as well. So all of that publishing is done in one central location. And as we talked about, the SSL configuration, so they connect with that secure connection. What we set up was Amazon Simple Email Services. So rather than having to connect back to your SMT server, which might be in-house, you can use Amazon server that's there to send out all of the windshield-generated emails. So it's one less burden, again, on your IT department. The other thing is the low-cost backup service from Glacier. So this is set up on the server to take these backups. Again, we want to limit your downtime if something goes wrong. So this is how we can limit that time. Amazon Web Service is a lower cost than hardware maintenance, so or even a data center. So again, you pay one monthly fee, and you don't have to worry about any hardware. So we take care of all that. So kind of some of the benefits that Nikon's seeing after the migration. Increased performance. So again, the data center that they were at in before had a very poor internet connection. So there was a lot of lag there from both their California location as well as their worldwide locations. Amazon has a much stronger internet infrastructure. They have multiple availability zones around the world. So for instance, you have to host a replica server in-house right now because you have your global locations. With Amazon, if you have a zone nearby, you can host your replica server in their cloud environment. So again, one less server that you have to have locally. Again, it comes down to the connection speed between you and how close the location is. But again, it's one less thing that you can do because of that global footprint that Amazon has. Guaranteed system uptime. We talked about 99.5%. So again, we actually write that into our SLA that we guarantee it be up 99.5% of the time. Any of the maintenance we do is done on weekends. That's pre-scheduled as well. Lower cost. Again, you pay one monthly fee for both the system and the support, whereas before you had to buy hardware and you had to maintain it back. A lot of times you may have unexpected expenses come up because you need to scale it and so forth. You have to get a bulk price to go buy a huge hard drive or a big amount of memory. Here you can scale it slowly if you need to and just kind of see how it works. Easier system management. We take all the management burden on our side from the system admin. So you guys just manage and focus on what you do best for your engineering side. we'll take care of all the system work. Quick integration with other cloud services. So if there's any other cloud services you also use that integrate with Windchill, it's much easier to integrate them when they're in the cloud. It's just that connectivity is there. Okay, any questions?
Did Nikon have any concerns over blinds and people essentially with it?
Say again?
Did Nikon have any concerns with the blinds and people as opposed to the
How do you mean?
the government's PA was on turn over the data and Nikon did not agree with that?
No, no.
They did have any concerns and they didn't discuss it.
They didn't discuss it.
What about application of mutual patches or upgrades?
As far as our Windows 360, we cover all maintenance releases. So for instance, if you're at 9.1 and 60, we would put you down to 70 or what the latest releases. The only thing we wouldn't cover would be a beige release. So right now, a lot of people are going from 9.1 to the 10 platform. That would not be covered. That would actually be a separate project that we didn't get involved in. But right now, going even from 10 to 10.1 is considered a maintenance release as far as we're concerned. So that would be part of the class.
Performance tuning?
Performance tuning is all taken care of as part of the system administration. So again, because we guarantee that uptime and we guarantee the performance, it's on us to make sure that we meet that goal.
So this is probably put other software out there.
You can put it on the same server, provided it doesn't cause a performance increase. But I mean, if you wanted to have a different software in the cloud as well to link with Windchill or so forth, we could set up a separate server as well. Yeah. We don't use anything that's kind of one giant server for multiple customers. Everything is private to server. Right now we have 2 in the cloud. Nikon was the first one, and then again, it's kind of new and up and coming, so we're just starting to build out.
What are you using for your performance base?
For our performance base, for that I actually don't know. That Abby's question I can get back to from our cloud guy. I don't know what they use for the base for that. I know he's got an entire list though.
You might have said this executively. What's the size of the user environment?
It can be anything you want. Right now we have kind of a promotion we're running. Up to 50 users is $19.99 a month for up to 50 users. It's then $29.99 a month for up to 100 users. Beyond that, we then have to kind of assess the system.
When you talk about like Windchill, what products are you assuming it's things like the
From what I understand, it could be anything. We have not integrated with Relics yet, but as far as Parts Link, Cognos, any of those, add-on modules, they can all be in their scope. Yeah, I mean, from what I see, kind of looking at it from a hardware perspective, it's like having the computer there. I mean, you can add anything you want to it. We use Linux right now. If you have a preference to use a Windows-based software, we have that available to us as well. It's just, we prefer to use Linux just for a performance reason. So anything you can install on a Windows system, we can put in there.
How about deployment?
I'm sorry?
Customization deployment, how about that? Like, if you want to deploy it, so we need to ask you to deploy it.
For customization, yeah. Because you guys will not have access to the servers themselves. So if there's anything system side that needs to be deployed, you can send that to us if you develop them and we deploy them. Now, if you wanted to, we can set up test environments and give you access to those. So you can do your development there. When it comes to the production side, because again, we're guaranteeing the performance, we have to be the ones that do the work.
When you say you have 2 customers, are they running in separate Windchill environments or are they running?
Absolutely. We don't have anybody running on the same environments. Yeah, we don't even try to pitch that. It becomes too cumbersome from an administrative standpoint to have the same people. We even kind of were playing around with the idea of at some point having sort of a single instance of a database and hosting multiple, SIDs or users in that. But for right now, our plans are just keep all systems separate so you have your own virtual cloud.
What about customer administration? Like organization, development administration?
That would kind of become more business admin side. With this plan that we're talking about here, it's just system administration. We do also offer business administration and user support. So if you wanted to add on the additional modules, so to speak, with the support, we can do any of your business side as well as your user support.
But otherwise, you expect a customer to do basic
Business support. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have questions, we'd be glad to help you with some things. Issues. We don't take ownership of doing any of the business admin side. Anything else? Yeah, we're down in the exhibition booth 305, so we'll be down there if you want any more information. Again, we have all these different products we're coming out with. Windshield apps, so we'll have different application modules for doing system administration, dashboards and so forth we're developing. So if you want any more information about any of these, come see our booth 305. All right, thank you.